Symbols remind us of values, of experiences, of aspirations. We do not, however, always share the same connections with any given symbol. Such is the case with the Fleur-de-Lis. This is a long-held symbol for New Orleans and a banner symbol for our advance into a new century for the city of New Orleans. A simple continuation of a long-standing reality, you might think. But despite its long-standing history, the story of the Fleur-de-Lis is incomplete to most. Its story, though long, is not always glorious. This film captures an effort to redeem and return the Fleur-de-Lis to the mainstream of acceptance and representation for most, if not all, New Orleanians. Make viewing it your tricentennial intention toward one New Orleans.
Echo. Nothing but an echo of the past. Nothing but an echo of the past.
We have an image called the Fleur-de-Lis. Say Fleur-de-Lis. And that's what it is in French. Literally, it means flower, fleur de, or of the lily. In Latin, it's lux or luce, light. So the Fleur-de-Lis as a symbol literally means flower of the lily, flower of light, and as you will see in a few moments, flower of life. How many of you drove here in some kind of vehicle? When you came to the end of the street, any given street that didn't have a red light and had something octagonal, what did you see? Say it again, us. Say it again. A stop sign. A sign has a one-to-one correspondence between what it is and what it means. Does a stop sign mean go? Does a stop sign mean text, even though that's what we do? A stop sign only means stop. Therefore, it is a sign. But a symbol, on the other hand, is multivalent. There is not merely a one-to-one correspondence between the object and its meaning. I don't know if my wife is out here, and I hope she will continue to be. But this wedding ring that I wear is not a sign. There is not merely a one-to-one correspondence between this as an object and what it means. It is a symbol. And a symbol, the object participates in the reality. Multivalent, many meanings. A circle, unity, eternity. Gold, lasts long, worth a lot. Some of you have diamonds, hardest naturally occurring substance. So a ring is a symbol. It announces to other folk, I ain't pretending. Don't step to me and I won't step to you. But to some, it may simply represent a ball and chain. But as a symbol, it points to the reality of together forever. The Fleur-de-Lis is a symbol. There is research and documentation that shows there is an unfortunate connection in the history of the Fleur-de-Lis to slavery. The Code Noir, the black codes here in this city, indicated if an enslaved African person, not just a slave, but if an enslaved African person ran off, there was a prescription, a series of things that were to happen to one who ran off. Their ear could be cut. Parts of their other parts of their body could be cut off as a deterrent to run again. And those of y'all remember in Roots and Kunta Kinte, and they cut off his foot, but they didn't cut off his hope. And so there were also those in the Code Noir, if they ran off, they were branded. And one of the brands, not the definitive, but one of the brands was a Fleur-de-Lis. And so there is debate and dialogue and discussion in the black community and other places about whether or not we should jettison this as a symbol. And I would agree if it were only a sign. If in the sweep of human history, this was only used as a brand to announce to the world that this is an enslaved African who has run off, and we claim this person as property after we have deculturized, depersonalized, dehumanized, thingified, and commoditized them. Then we stamp them with our trademark because that's all they are. But this symbol has a history that goes way beyond its misappropriation as a brand. I dare say there may be Boy Scouts in here. I promise God to do my best to do my duty too. And when I look back, I thought the operative symbol for the Boy Scouts is a Fleur-de-Lis. And when I look at the history of Europe, and I mean no harm or offense to anyone, there is very little that Europe has to point to that is its own. It has appropriated and misappropriated signs and symbols from antiquity, from ancient societies, from ancient people, and it has used and abused and misused those signs and symbols, renamed and repurposed and used them for other things, things of lofty meaning, of deep understanding. And one such thing that has been misappropriated is the Fleur-de-Lis. The flower of the lily has ancient roots in Egypt. Come on now. The two main flowers in antiquity in ancient Europe, the great ancient Egypt, that great civilization, were the lotus and the lily. But the lily, the lotus, that which grew on the Nile, near the Nile, was a symbol of life, saying every time this river overflowed, it brought the nutrients and the life-giving elements whereby in which you plant something, it must grow. It's kind of like Creole soil here in Louisiana. Anybody that's had a Creole tomato or a Creole okra, you know it tastes different. Oh, come on, act like you know. So anything that came out of the soil of the longest flowing river from south to north, the Nile, brought life. I thank God that I was able to one day put my hand in the Nile. And on either side of the banks of the Nile are desert and hills. Yet the water is cool, even cold. It is bordered by underground aquifers. And because of that, it keeps bringing coolness. And so that anything you plant in, the lily, the lotus, those symbols that represent more than just a pretty thing, mean life and light. To be sure, the European monarchy misappropriated. Yes, they picked this symbol, this fleur-de-lis, to represent their monarchy. Yes, to be sure, others in Europe put it on their coat of arms and upon their flags and everything, but they was just pretending.
Come on.
They were stepping down the meaning of something that already meant something before they were even thought of.
All right.
Not hundreds of years, but thousands of years. And so that when they pretended that they were in enlightenment and renaissance, in truth, they really had not yet emerged from the dark ages. So they misappropriated this symbol, which points to meaning beyond itself, yet it participates in that meaning. Not just the Boy Scouts, but in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, the lotus appears as a three-pronged flower, and it means life. But not only that, as a glyph and as an image, it is euphemistic for saying this represents the plant of life and hearkens to the notion of the tree of life. Now, you don't have to be saved, sanctified, and Holy Ghost filled, and speaking in tongues and burning. You ain't got to do that. You ain't got to do that. You ain't got to do that. Because there's a reality that comes way, way, way before that. And it is the reality of Fleur-de-Lis. Finally, let me say this. To redeem means to buy back. Something that was sold, perhaps it had no business being sold, had no business being misappropriated, had no business being stolen. Some of us are here because we were redeemed. One of our ancestors bought us back, had no business being sold in the first place. Since the fleur-de-lis is a symbol, and it's a symbol of light, and it's a symbol of light, I'm going to ask Dr. Freddie to come here and light this candle, emblematic and symbolic that the light of love and life still burns. And even if a strong wind comes and blows it out, it's just like in a unity candle ceremony when two people get married. I have to tell the one potential spouse and the other, now when you light your candle, don't blow yours out, just light the unity candle. Because your light must continue to burn. And even if wind blows the light out, it will never blow the light of life and love out of us. So the fleur-de-lis must be reclaimed, re-embraced, reimagined, and redeemed as a symbol of hope, of love, and of faith. So I call upon this prolific, deep, and wonderful author to light this candle. And I heard you say it. That is what it is. This now is unity. You are now drawn up ineluctably in a circle of unity. You are now drawn into a place where we embrace that which is ours. Somebody said, who stood here years ago, somebody ran off with all of my stuff. Well, this is some stuff, Sister Sonia, that we are reclaiming. This is our stuff. This is our symbol. This is not merely a sign that says we are chattel and we are property. This is a symbol that says we belong to God. Ashé, Hotep, Amen, Amen.
Nothing
Join the growing numbers of New Orleanians interested in owning the past with its mix of joy and pain, resilience and horrific injuries towards humanity, while moving forward in a light of acknowledgement, atonement, justice, and intention for an inclusive and equitable society where everyone gets a seat at the welcome table. Share this film and make it part of your rituals and events for the tricentennial. Let it lead you to an aspiration and greater commitment to equity among those gathered to view it. Let it inform and strengthen the future of our dear New Orleans.